The Be Fit for Business podcast. Today is really special. This is like a first time. We got an author in the building. Monika Griffin is in the building of Bittersweet Struggles. We are going to be talking about this amazing book. But first, before we talk about this amazing book, I'm wearing a very special something today, so I gotta give them a shout out. Shout out to Isaac from Being Human. This is a very special friend of Monika, and I'm definitely wearing his shirt today, so I had to shout out and show him some love. Loving the yellow, loving the multicolor. This is like a total match for my personality. Okay, we had like a whole talk about his brand too, but Isaac, you're gonna have to come on the show.
Yes, sir.
So for now, we are gonna talk to this amazing, bright, and brilliant author. Let's get into it. We're just gonna talk right about what this book is about, how you're reaching your audience and your readers. Let's talk about it.
Okay. Well,
how did this book start?
Well, I've tried writing other books in the past, and then one day I just started. I said, oh, let me try again. So I started writing a book. And, I just came to a halt.
Okay.
So I feel like I wanted to put...
Writer's block.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can call it that.
A writer's block. Okay. Yes.
And so I didn't know how to move on, and I just said, let me start putting a little bit of my life into the book.
Isn't that therapeutic, right?
Yes.
And once we start writing about our lives, the pen just start getting real fluid, right?
Right, yes,
because so much to tell about us, right?
So much. And then you start writing, you're like, wait, erase.
It's an audio biography.
You can't tell everything.
Yes.
So I did.
That's funny. Because listen, we're not signing no money over to nobody that we don't want to talk about the book.
Right. Absolutely.
I feel you.
And so I started putting parts of my life in the book, and it just helped me flow better.
Okay.
And so 4 years, later, I had Bittersweet Struggles.
Nice.
I had no idea how I was going to publish the book.
Okay.
But I just was. I just wanted to put stuff down on paper. Like you said, it was very therapeutic. It actually helped me realize some of the things that were, my fault, or, helped me realize, how to handle things. Yeah,
okay,
self-awareness,
that's dope.
definitely.
Oh, so that's definitely
therapeutic. So, yeah, it was like,
sure.
blame, play the victim, but then at the same time, you have to see where the fault lies.
Accountability.
Yeah, so.
Accountability is a big thing, okay?
Right.
That needs to be like the word of 2021, okay? Everybody needs to take accountability. And whatever you got to do, if you got to write a book to get to it, write your book to get to your accountability.
Oh, yes, because I was the perfect child.
Okay,
I had no issues, no problem. Then it was like, wait a minute. It was not my fault.
Yes,
but so it was great writing it. It was very emotional. Sometimes I had to stop because it was so emotional.
Wow.
Yeah, and then some things I put in and took out because I was just like, no, I'm going to leave that out.
Yeah.
But the entire book is not about my life. A lot of it is. I put a lot of situations in there. And so it was fun to write.
Okay.
And I was so happy, when I was done, but then I'm just like, okay, how am I going to publish it?
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Okay. So tell us about like some key points in the book. Can you just give us like a brief description or summary on what Bittersweet Struggles is about? I kind of know because, a small story, I always love to share a personal story. This lovely lady came into my juice bar. Shout out to Be Fit and Focus, your local juice company. Back in, I want to say, when was this?
2018.
2018. Yes, this lovely, lovely lady walked into my juice bar, and you were telling me about your book, and I remember you said something. You told me that you're a mom and your children, and you were telling me about your book and like some of the struggles that you had. And were you previously married?
No.
But you had a previous long relationship.
Yes.
I do remember. Yes, I remember you had a previous long relationship, and you talked about those different things and like areas that. And I remember you spoke about your children. So that's dope. I love that. And I read parts of the book.
Right.
Yes, because I owned the book back in 2018.
Yes.
Yes. So I do want you to explain to our listeners exactly what the book is about, or just like pretty much, well, you told us how you got started, but just something for them to connect to, and
Okay.
why they need Bittersweet Struggles, because I love that you said things that people can relate to, right? 'Cause women, we have relatable stories, so tell us about them.
Absolutely. Well, Bittersweet Struggles is a book about, and this is the first thing that you read, so it's not like a surprise, a book about a woman whose mom passed away. But she is still dealing with all of the hurt and the pain that's happened in the past. Yeah, so she's thinking like, oh, the mother took the, she was the lucky one dying because now she's done. She doesn't have to deal with everything that's happened in the past.
Wow.
So it's things that they never resolved. And, whenever they come together, there's always fussing, fighting. There's nothing ever resolved. And no one tries to. So, she's coming home to, plan the funeral with her siblings. And she falls back into some of her, old friends and old vices and old things that, got her in trouble.
Those reminders of the past, boy. Woo, child. You ain't got to tell me about those.
Yes. Yeah, those are fun while you're doing it, but destructive.
But they can be. But one thing I love about the past, it represents where you were and where you are now.
Right.
And if you can and something my friend Deb says, shout out to Deb, one of my producers of the show. She always says that if you can't look back at your old self and have conflict with where you are now, then you probably didn't grow.
That's true.
Yeah, so it's dope. I honor my past. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm transparent about it. Some things I moved on from. So I don't really like to highlight my past too much, only because I don't want to give life into some of those situations, not an avoidance thing, just totally I moved on from that, right? But it's a great reminder sometimes of where I've been and where I'm going.
Right,
or
absolutely.
where I am, or where I've grown through.
Absolutely.
So that's amazing.
Yeah, because I would sit there and I would write and I'm just like, whoa, I did this. Whoa, I did this. Oh my God. Erase. So yes, I recognize where the issues were.
Though, and I'm sure when your readers read that, they're going to definitely feel connected to that.
Right,
and listen, we all have those pages of the book in our own personal life. That's what I love about books, right? Books are like, it's pages in a book, right? How many chapters do we not read out loud? In our personal lives.
Right, a lot.
Right.
A lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of chapters that we don't read out loud. There's a lot in your writing process. I'm sure it was very relatable, where it's like, oh, I gotta tear this page out, or there's pages of our books that we don't want to read. You know what I'm saying? That we don't want to look at. So I love that.
Right.
I love that.
So, but yeah, in the end, even though it was very therapeutic to write it, in the end, I almost did not publish it.
Okay.
Yes. So, because I was going through, I found Amazon and they were doing Create Space.
Okay.
And so they were helping me publish the book and everything.
Oh,
and
good.
then at the last year, 2018, they said they're going to cut the program. So it's either you publish your book or you don't publish your book, and you have 2 months or something like that to decide.
Wow.
So it was like, oh my God, I didn't even have
hard
time.
work.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. So the thing is that I at that time, that's when I was just in turmoil. I was like, okay, should I publish it? Because it had a lot of personal things in it, and people that know me, my family, whatever, they know, what's what in the book. So then I was just I was talking to a friend and I was just telling him that, I might not, I'm really having a hard time because I might not publish it because I'm so nervous.
Wow.
But then I just, I did it.
Yeah. And it's your freedom
so.
too, right? So even if some people read the book, there may be chapters that might be about them, but ultimately it's your own freedom, right? And with respect to understanding how writers are, you have the opportunity to create spaces. You can embellish. You can make, be super truthful. Maybe you can over embellish. So I know that might be hard sometimes to explain to people who love us, but with respect to anything, just me as an entrepreneur, I always say that when I talk to my dad, Dad, you're not talking to Amber the entrepreneur, you're talking to Amber the daughter, the person. You know what I'm saying? So we have different hats that we have to wear. So it's okay.
Right,
you're a writer. You have that freedom and that liberty to create stories. That's it.
Absolutely. And I made sure
I'm glad that you reached that point that you said, I'm going to go for it.
Right.
Shout out to you.
It took me
Bittersweet
4
Struggle.
years and change to do it. So I was just I might as well do it. And it wasn't anything damaging. It's just my point of view of everything. What I seen, what I felt.
Were they ready for that perspective?
Well, my mother read the first line. She was like, I'm not reading this anymore. So she closed the book because the first line is my mother died or I didn't like my mother or something like that. But, my mother did, a wonderful job. I'm not bashing my mother.
No.
So, but it was very good to get things out.
Yeah,
to talk
that's
through. So we have a
great.
really good relationship
That's
now.
amazing. That's
And,
also see, look at that.
Look
so
at that,
the
I
book
know.
help you heal.
Yes,
That's
yes.
amazing. I'm telling you, like I always say, whenever you are doing anything from the heart and whenever you are doing anything like with passion, it may start sometimes a little tricky in that test and that triumph, that test stage and those trial stages, but that's what gets you to the happy place.
Right.
Like that. You didn't even know that by writing your book, you that's gonna prepare like a major relationship in your life. I love that.
Right, yeah.
I love
Because
that. I see that makes you emotional too. And that's amazing.
It does. Yeah, I'm sensitive.
I love that.
But
love
I
it.
also had to realize what she went through
Yeah,
back in the day. So.
absolutely. Listen,
She brought some tissue.
Oh no, you're totally fine. Oh yes, I love it. No, but that is just like a true display of what it is that you do and what you stand by. Can you bless us with like an excerpt of the book?
Right, I can read a couple lines.
Okay,
sure.
great. I would love that. And listeners, make sure that you are looking at Mo's information on our screen. Please make sure that you reach out to her. You can follow her on Instagram. She provides the link on how you can purchase her book. Again, we are all people. We already know what time it is, all the different types of, stories and our own personal struggles and the things that we've been through. I'm sure we can all relate. So I would love to hear an amazing excerpt of this book. Can you tell us what chapter we're reading from?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Let's see. We are reading from chapter 32.
All right, chapter 32.
Page 193.
Give it to us.
All righty. Okay. Just a few sentences, not too many.
Okay.
All right. Here's a crazy thought. We are all parentless. So this is with the three siblings sitting in the living room. Okay. Darren realized there was a long pause, and we all avoided direct eye contact. That would have been really great about 30 years ago, Darren added, and we all burst out laughing. I laughed because it was funny, but also because he beat me to the punch. I had tears coming from my face because I was laughing so hard. At first, the tears falling down my cheeks were from laughter, and then after a moment from sadness. The only thing you could hear between my brother, sister, and I were sniffling noses and cracked throats. There were no comforting words or reassuring hugs. We wiped our tears in silence.
Listen. All right now. Go ahead, give me the rest. Let me read the rest.
I was gonna read like a page or 2 pages, but
no, I love that because number one, I'm in it with you. You was like, this was the siblings sitting around. I'm like picturing like the siblings sitting around. I'm like, okay,
right.
But I love that. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yes, and tell us, and like, can you just share with us like some of the reviews that your readers have provided about your book?
Oh my goodness. Okay, from some of the folks that know me,
okay.
They put some reviews on Amazon, and one of the young ladies that I've grown up with since I don't know the 80s, she said, it takes me back to when we were growing up because they're also in the story as well. Mm-hmm. I actually got a text maybe a month or so ago from another family member, and it was like Sunday morning, and she just said, "Oh my God, you did a great thing." And she's texting me about Morgan and Chris and Thomas, and she's telling me everything that she's reading. So, and she's just like, I started my summer reading, and this is a great book. And so she was like, I'm waiting for part 2. So a lot of folks are asking me for part 2.
I love that.
The one thing that I love is that when I'm out somewhere, like I could be at the beach or I was at a cookout, or I was here, and someone will text me or hit me up on Facebook and say how great the book is, and how much they loved it.
That's amazing.
So, and then some folks also point out the parts that they see themselves in. So
you know that you created a masterpiece.
I guess so. Like I just wrote it to write it. I wasn't writing it to like, oh, I'm gonna be this bestseller. That would have been great, but it was just like something I needed to do.
I needed
to put that energy into something.
Awesome. So your book can be purchased on Amazon,
Barnes & Noble, Books A Million. And I was searching myself last night on Google. I don't know if you ever do that.
Okay, yes, heck yeah.
But yeah, so it's also on a Dutch site as well. Oh, so I was just like, okay, I couldn't read it, but I saw my book there and the name and everything. So it was pretty cool.
That. This is amazing. Okay, so surprise for you. Here's what I'm going to do. When we air this episode, I am going to purchase 2 of these books, and I'm going to give them to 2 listeners of this show. Yes, I love it. I am a great supporter, especially of authors, because I think that sometimes even book writers and authors are undervalued.
Right.
And the reason why I say that is because, you know, when I do my work, I know when I process juices, I'm obligated to do that for 18 hours on a Sunday. You just told me it took you almost 3 to 4 years to come up with your masterpiece.
Right.
That deserves compensation.
Thank you.
Yes, and I feel like authors are so undervalued, and it's so much. It takes a lot to, number one, be that vulnerable. It takes a lot to actually go through the process. You faced a test, right? With them saying like, "Oh, look, you either gonna do it or not." You know, I have friends who are working on books, and they're struggling sometimes with just getting it released or just it being perfect. So I know what that looks like. So listeners, you better pay attention to the show. I am definitely going to give 2 people your book.
Thank you. I appreciate that
it was
so
such
much.
a pleasure having you. Bittersweet Struggles. Make sure that you follow. Make sure that you purchase this book. This is a Black-owned woman's book. This is a Black author. So please, 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 from me to you guys, it is a great piece of work. That a few years ago, I did not finish the book, but a few years ago, I did actually take the time to read through, and I did. That's how I knew it was so personal.
Right.
And I just think it's an amazing piece of work. So listen, two books. 2 listeners, make sure y'all come on to pay attention to this great story, and I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
I wish you sold out books. I wish you part 2 of your next book, and it was such a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
Bittersweet Struggle, y'all.